Hello, my dear students. How are you all? I hope all of you are having a great day. So, today's topic is about quadratic equation. So, quadratic equation, after watching this video, you will be able to understand what is quadratic equation, standard or general form of quadratic equation, pure quadratic equation, and examples. So these are the topics that we will cover in this video. So stay tuned and let's start the video. So first thing that we are going to explain is what is quadratic equation. So quadratic equation is an equation in which the highest power of unknown variable is 2, right? Highest power of the unknown variable is 2. That is called the quadratic equation. This is also called the second degree equation because the highest power is 2. Now I will tell you standard form. What is the standard form of quadratic equation? If I write ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, right? This equation is equals to 0. That is why this is called standard form or general form of quadratic equation, because the highest power is 2, so it qualifies the quality of quadratic equation. Now I will tell you what is a. A is the coefficient of x square, right? And what is b? B is the coefficient of x. And what is c? C is the constant, right? And a, b and c are the real numbers, right? So I've explained you the general form, and that is also called standard form, in which I've explained you about the coefficients and the real numbers. Now we will do example of this quadratic equation. Okay, now I'll give you some example. For example, if I write x square minus 7x plus 6 is equals to 0. Or maybe if I give you 3x square plus 4x plus 5 is equals to 0. So these equations, two equations are equals to 0. So we can say that they are in standard form, because I told you in standard form they should be equals to 0. So they are also equals to 0. Now you can see power is, highest power is 2, right? And it satisfies the quadratic equation. So if I write some other example, like if I write 3x square plus 4x is equals to 8, right? If I write this equation 3x square plus 4x is equals to 8, so this is not equals to 0. So this is quadratic equation, but it is not in standard form, right? Or we can write 7x square minus 5x is equals to 1. So this is also not in standard not in standard form, right? So these are not in standard form. So now let's see what is quadratic equation we have done, standard form we have done. I've given you examples. Now we will explain what is pure quadratic equation. So let's start this. So for pure quadratic equation, first let me write the standard form again. Ax square plus bx plus c is equals to 0, right? This was the standard form of quadratic equation. So in pure quadratic equation, our b will be equals to 0, right? If b is equals to 0, then this equation will be ax square plus c is equals to 0 because b is 0, right? So this whole term will, so ax square plus c is equals to 0. So this is called pure quadratic, right? So in any equation, if this b is equals to 0, then the quadratic equation will be called as pure quadratic equation. And I will give you some examples. Let's take x square minus 16 is equals to 0. And now you can see I've given you example x square minus 16 is equals to 0. So you have to tell me this is in standard form or not. Yes, this is in standard form. Why? Because this equation is equals to 0. And if I write some 4x square is equals to 7, right? So this is not in standard form, right? So this is not in standard form, but it is the example of pure quadratic because we don't have any value for the variable, for the coefficient of x. What is the coefficient of x? B. So there is no value, so it means this is called pure quadratic. Keep it in your mind, for pure quadratic b is equals to 0. So in the next video we will do the solutions of quadratic equation. So there are two methods to solve quadratic equation. One is factorization, while the other one is completing square. Okay, so this was the first lecture. I hope you understand, and do take some examples of quadratic equation, pure quadratic equation, and in next video we are going to explain it. So I'll give you some overview about today's lecture. So quadratic equation, our pointers were what is quadratic equation. I already explained. When the highest power of the unknown variable is 2, that is called quadratic equation. What is standard or general form? Standard or general form in which the quadratic equation is equals to 0, that is called standard form or general form. What now I can explain you. A is the coefficient of x square, b is the coefficient of x, while c is the constant value, and they are all real numbers. These are some examples. X square minus 7x plus 6 is equals to 0. You can take any examples. So your homework is you have to write some good examples of quadratic equation in standard form and not in standard form. Okay, and you should know what is another name of quadratic equation. So another name of quadratic equation is called second degree equation because the highest power is 2. So then I have explained you what is pure quadratic equation. That you have to make simple notes about quadratic equation. What is quadratic equation? What is the general form? What is the pure quadratic? And do some examples. So if you do some practice, then you will be prepared for our next lecture, that is solutions of quadratic equation. So see you in my next video. Goodbye.